So this is Seth Walker here, and I'm here with Shellz.
How you doing?
Shellz.
Yeah.
Everson.
Yeah.
We were just sitting here talking about some stuff, and she was like, "Man, we should YouTube this." And I was like, "Well, okay." So what we were talking about though was licenses, and she was talking about old people driving.
Yeah. I think if we're going to have laws and we're going to have licenses and strict ass regulations, I think after like an old age, you know, you should maybe get a test every 2 years. Like, you know, have you tested. I mean, I know plenty of elderly people who have gotten in fucking accidents and gotten other people in accidents. You feel me?
I don't think old people should be tested. I don't think anyone should be tested. I don't think that we should have licenses. When I was going into school, I went to driver's ed, and they were telling us that driving is a privilege, it's not a right. But now that I'm older, I realize that that's totally programming. It's not a privilege, it is a right. It's a mode of transportation, and we have the constitutional right that the government is not to restrict the free movement of the people by whatever the modern mode of transportation is.
No.
Now you should have a license to fly a plane, because not everybody flies a plane, but everybody drives a car. Like, kids know how to drive a car at 15 because they've been playing video games, learning how to drive. They've been playing video games. You know, the big car, like, that's a simulator. They know how to shift, they know how to drive a manual before they'd ever put a real key into an ignition. Like, by this point, we don't need that. That's just another way that the government makes money off of us by licenses, taxes, and registration. You know, you're always having to renew things, and they have, they have speeding limits. They have all these different things that are really just ways to leak money out of the people through a system. Parking tickets, like all these things that are based around our vehicles.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these are
boots and shit.
Yeah, these are at the point, you know, and the rates that they charge for this thing. I mean, if a ticket was $30 or $40, that's like a don't do this anymore. You know what I'm saying? If ticket's like $200 or $300, like that makes some people not make rent. That is an oppressive system, and the government is not here to tell us what to do. We made the government to do what we told it to do. You know, and at this point, it's
supposedly.
You know, it's gotten to the point where we're restricting the freedom of fellow Americans. Now, my rights end where yours begin. Right?
Now, okay, let's take my grandmother for instance. Love my grandmother to death. She's the sweetest fucking woman you ever meet in your life. And she's blind in her right eye. Or is her left eye? I can't remember. She's blind, completely blind in one fucking eye. She's actually hit somebody. Do you want her on your road? I mean, seriously, do you want her on your road?
Yo,
that's why we're putting.
I'm 25, and I've hit people.
This is what I'm saying.
People get into accidents.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. You're 25 and you've hit people because you weren't paying attention. My grandmother hit people because she wasn't able to drive that vehicle. She was not supposed to drive that vehicle. My mother has epilepsy so bad to where they told her you can't drive.
Mm-hmm.
Now my mom has actually went into one of her seizures at the wheel and is flown off of a fucking 10-foot drop off. The money the money that goes into those tickets and into those parking tickets and speeding tickets and, you know, the fucking tow people. I think a tower should have to give up at least 20% of his earnings. The taxes that go toward it should go toward public transportation. Therefore, the people that do get their licenses taken away can have some form of a good working transportation to get them from point A to B.
Now, I've been to places, like for instance over in the Bay Area, California, they have the bar system, the community system, and you don't need a car. Like I stayed over at my friend's warehouse, it was more of a pain to move my truck to avoid the street sweeping tickets than it was, you know, I mean, because I never used my truck when I was there. I walked to the BART station. I took a BART into San Francisco. I took a Muni over to some place, walked a couple blocks. I was there. Take a Muni back to the BART, jump on the BART, take it back, take a bus over to where I'm going. You know, I mean, but we don't have that kind of system here. But now the question is that if we had that kind of public transportation, then I could see them requiring licenses.
Yes.
Because that would not, because cars would not be the main mode of travel.
But that's what I'm saying. That's
how the main mode of travel.
But see, that's how you can't build that public transportation. If you think about most of where old people live, where do a lot of elderly people live?
Retirement homes.
Retirement homes. Not just retirement homes, retirement towns. You know? Might be a you know, somebody might have a grandma in Houston, and their grandma says, you know what, I'm getting too old for the city. And usually that's how it is for the elderly people. They don't like how cities have been built up, so they move to the outskirts of a town. So what happens if you have that public transportation inside that town, not in the outskirts? So if we were to actually use the money that we're getting from public transportation in these cities to build outward into the outskirts, that way the elderly people that you have on the outskirts of your town, in little itty bitty towns that don't have any public transportation, they can have that public transportation, and they can build that public transportation in those smaller towns.
So here's a question for you though. Is it really worth the exchange to trade our rights and our personal power to make our own decisions, to operate our personal property?
You know what?
I mean, that's the thing.
You're right.
Is that
that's why
I own my
truck.
I own my vehicle. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I own my vehicle.
Right.
But all the roads are public roads, right? No. But they're not public roads. They're government-owned roads that they decide who can drive on them. So I have a piece of property that I can't use without their permission. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, if they're either public roads or they're not. It's either private property or it's not. Now, here's the thing. You have to have licenses for bicycles in some foreign countries. Now, we don't have to have a license to ride a bicycle, but you can get a vehicular, like a moving violation ticket on a bicycle.
You can get a ticket walking.
Now see, that's the thing, is that you also don't have to have a walking license. Why? You don't have to have a license to ride a horse. Why? Because these are publicly available transit modes like that are, you know, very common. So we don't have licenses for them because everyone knows how to do it. At this point, I think that what we're doing is it's gotten to a system where it generates so much revenue that, I mean, because they make their licensing money, the government makes their licensing money, all the private shark businesses, you have the vultures that run, you know, all the kinds of, you know, flash towing, you know, booting, all this kinds of stuff, you know, and this is all legit because we have this idea set up that public property is not really necessarily public property, and that's kind of the game. Now, I totally agree. I think you should have a license to fly an airplane. I think that you should need a license. 18-wheeler.
Well, you know what?
Get a license for an 18-wheeler. Get a license for a motorcycle. Get a license for maybe buses, any kind of public transportation, like those things I can see required. But the common everyday, like, this is just another way that we have allowed our rights and our freedoms to be exchanged for what has been told to us as the public good. But really, all it does is they're the worst part of everyone's day. There's no part of that system that contributes to everybody's good day, except for the people that are, like, I'm sure, like, I know some friends that tow trucks, and they have a lot of fun doing it. But all the people they interact with, they are the worst part of their day.
I have to say you have a point.
Yes!
I cower.
Yes!
Everybody that ever sees this knows.
Yes!
No! Seth Walker has a point. Shit.
Good. Loving this good. Okay.